Welcome to another Zen pop-up. So in this Zen pop-up, what I want to talk about today is goals. So realistic goals. Now, it's very easy for us to just make up a number and say, right, okay, I want to completely give up all my other ventures that I'm doing, whether that's a day job or other projects that you've got going. And it's really easy for us to say, oh, we're just going to focus all our attention on Zenler and we are going to just make enough money or make more than enough money doing that. We need to be looking at it from a realistic goal point of view. If you've already got a job, you've already got income coming in, then you want to make sure that this is replacing it in a way that you're not stripping right back. Now, some people, this is where people can kind of lose it a little bit, because what they'll do is they'll go, right, I'm going to focus. And this is not a bad thing, but it's just not the right thing. They'll just focus and say, right, I'm going to leave the job and I'm just going to start this up. Because remember, like any sort of business that you guys are working on, it's going to take time to develop. If you have shops, I think like setting a business up, it said that, you know, it takes 5 years before you break even. Well, obviously with online businesses, it's a lot quicker, you know, but it can also stop a lot faster as well because of the lack of motivation. So what I'm saying to you is try to run realistic goals whilst you're thinking about it. So you've got a job, you've got security there, you've got other ventures that you're doing, you've got the security there. Don't just give it all up. Just start to plan things out, put things in place, because like, as we know, like it can take a bit of time to work and build on a site. You know, just to have a site and start building your social media channels and starting to cause a buzz. You know, this can take a year, this could take 2 years. You know, sometimes it's quicker if stuff trends, or you've already got a market that you can hit and target, then it's a lot quicker. But if you haven't got it and start from scratch, you're going to have to build this stuff. So it can take a bit of time. So you need to make sure you got that security blanket there, so you're not stressed with mortgage payments, you know, even going on holiday because you can't afford it because you've given everything up. So you need to be really careful about this, and you need to have realistic set goals moving forwards. So I always like to start with like time frames and things like that. So I've got a few slides. There's a lot more to it than this, but what I'm saying is if you look at what we're going to look at in the slides, you can plan these things out depending on your case, you know, because every case is different, as we know. So let's jump into the share here and just have a look at what we've got going on here. So the first one I'm talking about here is set a time frame. So for instance, in this case study, we're saying within 3 months, I want my site and course up, and I plan it all out. Now, I haven't left any jobs that are making me money in the meantime. I'm not going into any of my savings or any of that stuff. You know, I've still got money coming in, so I'm planning this. I'm setting a time frame when I'm going to do it, and that is an important aspect as well, as we will drill onto that. But it's actually planning the time, and consistency with what you're trying to do is key to everything that you do online. We've said it once and we said it 1,000 times: consistency. Social media channels, consistency. Keeping your students engaged, consistency. It's just one of those things that just goes hand in hand with online business. Especially important because people are not turning up at your class every day and you're there. It's very easy with online stuff, as you probably know, and you probably chime with this quite well, is it's really easy because it's online just to leave it and go, oh, okay, well, it's online, I've got it all there, it's all working, you know. Like everything, you need to just show it a bit of love consistently, like anything in life. So set a time frame, and here we said like 3 months. I want my site up and I want my course up. Might be a little bit unrealistic, but it's possible, especially if I've got some of the course material already made, or I've got it all planned out in my head or written down on paper. Then this is a realistic time frame for me. But it doesn't mean that I've given up all my other jobs in the meantime. you know, so I've got to plan out when I'm going to be able to do this, and that needs to be reflected in the time frame itself. So as we go forwards, we're going to say we need to set a target based on your needs. So again, this bases back to what you're doing, how much income you've got coming in, and these kind of things. So in this case, I need to make 2,000 a month with my Zenler site in order for me to give up my day job. This doesn't include other ventures that are going on. This is just a case study, just a sample or something. So you need to make 2,000 a month for your Zenler site in order to give up my day job. So I'm not going to give up my day job till I'm making consistently 2,000. And I would say consistently, because months drop off and months drop on, depending on the time of year. If you can time it and get everything ready with one of the big sales like Black Friday, that's an ideal time to reach out to people you've already drilled in. But remember, that's an inflated sale price, because that's an inflated figure, because you're getting a lot of people buying, probably because you're giving some coupons away and those sort of things. But after that, you want to make sure that you're consistently hitting that 2,000 on average every month. So that's where you need a bit of time again for that to work. So don't give up those jobs that are bringing money in until you're consistently getting this kind of money and you're getting a nice fan base and following. Okay, really important. So we'll move on from there, and then we'll say be consistent. Now, I've already mentioned this, and I mention it again because it's so important. So with everything you do, set a time to work on them. So whether it is an hour a day, whether it's an hour a week, you just need to be consistent with it, and it should be reflected on the time frame that you've got, that we saw in slide 1. So everybody can allow that time. It's your business, it's what you want to be working on. You want to give up other things to have this. By giving up those other things and actually getting this to work, you will have more time for yourself, because you won't be traveling into work, you know, you won't be working late for the boss, you won't be doing these things, you'll have more time. So it's worth putting that time in before, even if you have to get up, say you get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, get up at 6 o'clock, put an hour in every day, okay? That's what I'm saying. So Sundays, you've got a lull period, maybe you lounge around and watch, you know, the TV, and it's a load of rubbish that you're watching, then maybe that time could be better spent for something like this. Even having, you know, writing things down on a piece of paper or those sort of things can be helpful as well. So consistency is so important with this. So set your work time so you can actually move forwards and not procrastinate, and that is the big word. Do not stay stagnant. So now we get into the money side. So what we're thinking about is, like, you need to say, right, okay, what sort of hourly rate do I want to be making an hour here? So with this particular case study, we want to make about £120 per hour. So we can use simple mathematics to work out if we're hitting that hourly rate. We can say the total number of sales divided by the hours spent would give us our hourly rate. In this case study, we need to make 1,200 on a course if we spent 10 hours, or 10 hus. If we spent 10 hours on a course and we want to be making 120, we need to be making sales of 1,200. So that'll then equal my hourly rate of £120 per hour. And this is why I have a little, and I've shown this before, I have a little stop clock. In fact, I've got 3 for different jobs, and I have that on there, which is not, there we go. So little stop clocks, I can click them on and off, and I know how much time I've worked on each of the projects that I'm working on. Okay, so then I know, I jot that down on a piece of paper, actually in a spreadsheet, and then I know when I hit that figure that I have succeeded. So I've succeeded in hitting that figure. Until I hit that figure, I have not succeeded, based on the hourly rate that I'm charging myself out at. So this is key to making sure. I see it all the time, and I've done it myself, and most of these things I've done myself and done them wrong, and I've done it where I've produced tons and tons of courses, and I'm not really watching what money it's making, and a lot of them haven't hit the hourly figure. In fact, some of them have been way off. So others have been way over. And that brings me to the point that when you do hit that figure of 10 hours, £120 an hour, 1,200, when you do hit that figure, you have to remember that it keeps making sales. So it keeps increasing your rate once you've hit it. What I'm saying to you is once you've hit it, you still maintain that site, that course, but you start adding. You can then move on to the next project because you've made it. So what are you going to do? You're going to sit there waiting for you to see when it hits that figure and go, right, okay, now I can start on something new. No, it's still a continued thing. So hours will go into this because you'll be spending extra hours by doing things like marketing. So you'll be marketing that same course, that same membership. You might even be spending money on Google ads or Facebook campaigns or Instagram or any of the social platforms. You need to take that into account as well and add that onto your totals. So it will increase, but you should get more people coming in and then until it hits that rate that you want. All right, so it might sound complicated, but it's all just time management. It's just time management, and it's outlay management as well. Like in the case of buying anything for that particular course that you've had to buy, that needs to be factored in as well, so that you're actually breaking even. If we look at it that let's just look at it that you're not making £120 an hour. Let's just say you're breaking even. You're bang down the middle, right? I've now achieved that. You've actually made £120 per hour, but let's just, in your mental head, right, just get it right. I've broken even. So if you get that kind of mentality, you will become richer for it, because you're not looking at it in money. You're just looking at it like that. The balance is not right yet. The balance is now even. And that's how you're looking at it. And as you get more successful and you get more people, you might want to put your hourly rate up, and these things go up and up and up. So, and it's also like what you're trying to do, what sort of figure you're trying to reach for maybe taxes and those sort of thing. So sometimes it might be, oh, there's just too much money coming in. I need to spend it all because otherwise I'm going to give the tax man a lot of money. So those kind of things can factor in as well. So it's a really important thing to sort of set an hourly rate that you want to actually achieve and get to once you move on. So let's move on. So keep adding to your goals. So this is a big one. This is what I just said. Once you've reached that goal, you maintain that site, but it looks after itself. There's a minimal maintenance on that. So it means that you can move on to the next goal. Now remember that each goal you're moving on to, whether it's courses or a new venture, because it doesn't necessarily just apply, this thinking doesn't necessarily apply to Zenler alone. It applies to everything in life, really. So adding to your goals, keep adding to your goals. Once you reach the goal, then you should set yourself a new goal. This is for sure. You shouldn't just say, right, that's it, I've made it, and then give up. You've got to keep proceeding forward. You've got to keep updating and keeping fresh all the content that you're putting out there. Consistency. So keep adding to your goals, really important. And this is a really big one because I don't want to stress any of you guys out. So remember not to be stressed if you do not meet any of the targets that you've set, especially if you're a new course creator. Okay, because it's going to take you a while to get the momentum and get the people in there. You'll start with one student, you'll then have 2, then you might have 4, then you'll have 8, 16, 32. You start 64. When you start breaking the 100, 150, you're making significant money. And you've got those super fans with you. Spend a lot of time, if you're new, spend a lot of time with your new people that have found you. Find out where they found you. Hold lives with them. Get to know them. Get to know them all as much as you can. As it grows to with it over 500, it starts to become a bit harder to get to know people personally. Okay, but you do know those key super fans that you've had from the very beginning. These are your ambassadors. These are the best things that you can have. These are better than any marketing campaign you can put out there. These people will shout about you all over the place. Word of mouth is the #1 converter. Okay, so and that's even above lives. So if you've got these people talking about you, generally it's because you've held lives and you've got to know them. But it is, word of mouth is just hands down the best way of getting people in. Okay, so remember not to stress out if you don't meet those targets. It's okay, it's fine. We set our goals. Our goals that we're setting might be in some cases unrealistic, and we need to charm it back a little bit until we get to that point where we can hit it. Do not go in there with a goal, right, I want to make I want to be making £2,000 an hour. Don't do that. That's just crazy, you know. you need to start, especially if you're new to this, you need to start and you need to build it up. This is the key to these sort of things. All right, so hopefully that has been of use to you. That's realistic goals that you should be thinking about to achieve. So be motivated with it, be positive, enjoy the experience. I'm hoping that everybody that's teaching on the platform is teaching subjects that they love. I just think life's too short to be teaching something that you don't enjoy. In fact, in anything, if you're doing anything you don't enjoy in your life, you should quit it, get away from it as fast as you possibly can, okay? Because you should be doing things that you love. So I'm hoping that all of you love your subjects. So if you love your subjects, then put that into the comments below. I love what I teach. Oh, it's great. I can't wait to make this my full time. Just put those comments underneath in the Zen pop-up chat underneath, okay? So that is a Zen pop-up from us today, a little bit about realistic goals and trying to achieve them. So we've looked at a small amount of it, but there's obviously a lot of other things you can add to this, and we might be doing challenges on this and those sort of things. So realistic goals, keep it up, keep moving forwards, don't procrastinate, keep it consistent, set realistic goals and move forwards with your Zenler education.